Yo, what's up, YouTube? My fault for being late. You know, had stuff to take care of. My fault. As you can tell, I'm tired as fuck. So, you know what I'm saying? Thanks, don't call me Danny. Tired as fuck, but I figured I'd do a short one tonight. I'm saying, I figured I'd do a short one tonight. But I do have something to talk about. This whole toxic gaming shit, right? It's a good topic because now companies are getting into this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're getting into policing what we do in their fucking you know what I'm saying, in their shit. Now here's the thing. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer about this thing. All right. On the surface it sounds so nice and pleasant. You feel me? What's up, Stardust? What's up, Aaron? You know what I mean? But it sounds so nice and pleasant on the surface when these major corporations are looking into looking into ways to, make the gaming community less toxic. Which is, first of all, how fucking dare you? First of all, to call us toxic like that, motherfucker. You in there too. Like, what you mean? Like, and the jabs y'all pull on each other, as far as corporations are concerned, way crazier than the jabs we take on each other. Like, you know what I mean? It's all fatal. But that's why I want to talk about it in tonight, right? The toxic and gaming and shit. And also I want to recap this generation thus far. You know, how recently, since we're about a year away from next generation, quote unquote, because we're not even sure what a fucking generation is anymore. But we're about a year away, and everyone's just doing PS5 versus fucking Xbox Two. Who's gonna win? Which one has more power? PS5 got more power. Two got more power. You know what I mean? Like, I see these videos recently everywhere, and recently I haven't been staying up with all the news and shit. You know what I mean? I haven't really stayed up on all the news and shit, so I really don't know the topics that's out there. So the only thing I know about is the toxic gaming shit because companies. I'm not just talking about Xbox because Xbox talking doing the most with it. You know what I mean? But PlayStation did come out and say some shit like you know they are committed to combating gaming as a what is it, a psychological order. That's some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's just scary though, right? That's just super scary. But this is on a lower level, and it's not just Xbox. Sooner or later, every company that you know do streaming service and just having a multiplayer type of atmosphere and just servers in general is gonna slowly move through this. And and motherfuckers like, man, y'all, why are you hating on? Why you calling it policing? Like you make it sound all serious. It's not that deep. Nigga, it is that deep. What you mean? What do you mean it's not that deep? You think about this shit. It used to be you could just say whatever the fuck, right? And I'm not condoling this shit. Like, please understand. Like, I'm not condoling motherfuckers being assholes on the internet. Let's make that clear. Like, I'm not saying that's cool. But let's just be real. Let's just be real. We all live in glass houses. None of us is above that shit. Don't bullshit me. The best of us has done that bullshit. Okay, when we say some wild shit when we're playing a game, whether we losing like a motherfucker or we winning like a motherfucker, one of those. In one of those scenarios, we wilding out on somebody. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me y'all have halos and shit. Tell me none of y'all fucked up. And I'm addressing everybody who listens to this shit, including the chat. Like, don't bullshit me, bro. Don't bullshit me like all of us is above that shit. Most of us is above that shit. Most of us is not. There's a selective few of us, very few of us, that really is above that shit. I'm not above that shit. What you mean? So, J Swell, you feel me? I'm not above that shit. I mean, I don't make it a habit or nothing. I don't do it on the regular. I don't troll people on the regular, and I don't troll that deep. But I'm not above that shit. I'm not, and I ain't gonna front. I don't think I'll believe y'all if y'all say y'all above that shit. I ain't gonna front. I've seen y'all in chats. I've seen y'all in multiple podcasts. Cause y'all watch multiple ones. You know what I'm saying? And I seen y'all. None of us above that shit. Let's keep that extra real with one another. Thanks for that. Don't call me Danny. But you feel me though? Like you feel me though? Like none of us is above that shit. Even a child. Matter of fact, a child is even worse. They talk about protect the children bullshit. Who's gonna protect us from the children? Fuck these kids. Have you hear like a fucking 12-year-old on multiplayer? They be doing the most. Is these like children? What you mean? What you mean? That shit's crazy. Protect the children. Man, fuck them kids. What do you mean? Have you heard these kids? Fuck their parents. What you mean? Like they like, bro. That's where I'm getting at, right? The problem with trying to like fuck, like yeah, man, fuck those kids. Like yeah, the problem with like fucking trying to like tell people what you can and what you can't do on like that type of shit, right? Is like it's just really all right. Let me put this in a way motherfuckers can understand. Some people are that way. And it's not because of gaming. It's not because of the gaming culture in general. People are that way. People exist like that. You know what I mean? And there are ways. What's up, Lay? There are ways. There are ways for them to pick on you. They're just one way or another, right? If they're the type of person that do that type of shit, they're gonna do that type of shit. You're not gonna fix it by setting rules and regulations. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Say say I dibble dabble in you know some fuckboy shit 10% of the time while I'm online. Am I prosecuted the same way a motherfucker that does it 90% of the time? You know what I mean? Because like, I'm gonna keep it real with all of y'all. Like, I don't know if y'all above it because I know I'm not above it. I'm just keeping it extra real with you. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it extra. I'm not above that shit. I dibble dabble in some fuckboy shit from time to time. I be saying some wild shit because I know if I fucking killed a motherfucker like 9 times in a row because I could see his name and I be laughing and and you could hear him on the other end because they be playing that and you could hear them and shit and they be salty what and sometimes it might get a little extra too real for them and it's just fun to clap back sometimes, but that's all it is. Somewhere between 5 to 10% of the time I'm online, I'm kind of an asshole. I'm gonna keep it extra real with you. Some of y'all might have a lower percentage than that. Some of y'all never have evil thoughts in your entire life, and y'all had like 2%. You know what I'm saying? 2% of the time y'all online, but 0%, bruh, 0%. Um, all y'all Jesus and Buddha out here. Ain't nothing but a bunch of Jesus and Buddhas walking around out here, huh? And here's my concern with that, right? It does seem like policing because now what? Now there's actually rules and regulations involved. If you fuck around, you get cut. Like you might be out. This whole motherfucking system, like you might have to buy a whole nother crib, get a brand new, all kinds of shit just to be able to. I don't know the penalties involved and I don't know the regulations yet. I don't know the the laws that are involved in this new age shit where they start policing the way you act online now, right? Because there's certain things in real life that is not illegal. It's just a douchebag thing to do, and you might get smacked up. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not good with um, the verbal boxing match, and not really even verbal. It's in text form usually. It's in text or verbal too verbal online and type. You know what I'm saying? They're not good with that. It breaks them down for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know. But in real life, it's not illegal to walk up to a man while he's eating the donut and smack the donut out of his hand. It's not illegal to do that. What's up, Jamal? You feel me? It's not. I could do that in front of a cop. I could just walk up to a dude. He's like in the middle. He's about to bite into this like delicious ass looking donut. Look like it costs like $9 or something just for one donut. That's how dope this donut is. And I just walk up and smack it out of his hand just for kicks and giggles. I mean, I might get knocked the fuck out for doing some shit like that, right? And the police, standing right there looking at it would probably laugh about it. They'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with this little Asian motherfucker?" You know what I mean? It's not illegal to do that though. I don't get jail time for that. Matter of fact, the dude who punched me in my face might get jail time for like assault. Even though, it depends on, how crazy rich that dude is. His lawyer might be able to get, the judge to agree that me smacking the donut out of his hand is assault. But you know, probably not all that, right? It wouldn't even come to all that. Not really illegal. Not really illegal to cut someone off in traffic either. It's not. Exactly, fatal. Exactly. But that's not illegal, especially in Canada. I know that's not illegal in Canada. You know what I'm saying? But that's scary, right? Because what if you perfect the whole time? Just one time you just got salty. You know what I mean? You just got salty because this motherfucker is murking you. We all been there. I've never been to the point where I'll be like cursing out the whole family and all that other. That's too much shit. That's a lot of shit, right? That's on a whole nother level. But if you were just getting worked and you know what I'm saying in whatever game, in a fighting game or a fucking shooter or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then whatever the case is. Like just if y'all just can imagine that shit, just imagine like me playing Thrash and Tekken. Y'all know I'm not the coldest motherfucker in Tekken. I get murdered all the time live on YouTube on Tekken. I get some from other mother like I win some matches, but when I fight Thrash, it's like it's like him fighting me in Street Fighter. Like I knew it's coming. I ain't gonna front. Is there any salt in there? There's a little bit of salt in there. I don't like losing. You know what I mean? But it's not that serious. But sometimes, just imagine that. Just hopping online and you playing the motherfucker and you playing round robin, right? And just this one motherfucker just beating your ass. You know what I'm saying? In a fighting game, just 9 rounds in a row, just beating your ass. And by like the fifth, sixth round, this dude start teabagging your ass in a fighting game. They teabag in fighting games too. If y'all don't know, if you don't play fighting games, they teabag your ass in a fighting game like hardcore, right? Just teabagging you every time they was able to knock your ass on the ground. They just teabag the fuck out of you because they know you can't do shit. You can't do shit. And have I ever been, on the receiving end of that? Yeah. I mean, because I'm not the coldest motherfucker in the world. There's plenty of dudes out there that'll murk me in any fighting game. Even the fighting games that I could play the best at, the ones that I put in the most hours in. There's plenty of people that out there will murk me. Some of them, will teabag. That's just the way the game goes. But to like knock all that out, right? Just imagine that shit. Just imagine this one dude just pulling, just wailing on you. Oh, you already know I'm already there. I'm ready to get teabag on Samurai Showdown. I'm ready for that. Don't call me Danny. I'm ready for that. I'm so hyped for Samurai Showdown, man. Thrash doesn't understand how much practice he need to put in because he need those extra 3 days. Because by the time I get Samurai Showdown, I don't want to hear no bullshit. I just need about a day or two in there, right? And I think I'm off. I'm off tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also off. Uh, is it Friday? I need to check. It's either Thursday or Friday. It's one of those days. And we need to run one on the round table. It'll be great. Because here's the thing: it's a new fighting game. Well, it's not new. It's been out ages ago. But most of us are super rusty at it. I don't think anyone within a few days have enough lap time in it to even fucking matter. It's a fighting game. a 2D fighting game. With correct me if I'm wrong, Thrash. Is there any bullshit? Is there any bullshit in the game where single button super moves and shit? I believe I read something that they said there was like no simple ass. Like there are some mechanics that are like easier, but there's no like super simple ass shit. Oh, you Hanzo? Okay. This dude was playing my secondary. Okay. No, it's Ukiyo. I'm gonna get all the hoes. When he leave the building, all the hoes come with him. Yeah. Ukiyo is that dude. If y'all don't play Samurai Showdown, y'all know what we talking about. But yeah, I'm so hyped for that. I'm so hyped for that. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm expecting to get murked on that game because you know what? There's plenty of dudes who play Samurai Showdown regularly, like throughout the span of time. You know what I'm saying? They've been playing Samurai Showdown since the '90s, and they haven't stopped. And there's a good chance I'll be running into a couple of those motherfuckers, when the game's out because it's fresh. Everybody started at zero. It's gonna be real interesting. But I love that game. I think the mechanics in that game. I think that's the best SNK series ever made. Was the Samurai Showdown shit. Because no matter how good their King of Fighters shit and all that shit is, they will never beat Street Fighter in that genre, in the contemporary fighter type of genre. They'll never beat them. But Samurai Showdown is that niche fighter that's just amazing. Yes, it's a niche fighter. It's very niche. Most motherfuckers haven't even heard of Samurai Showdown, but it is actually. I believe this is to be true, but this is the first original sword fighting game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but fighting games involving blades, just weapons in general, Samurai Showdown was the first. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it to be true was the first. And to this day, Soul Calibur might come close, but I still think it's the best. Unless I'm wrong, I play this new one as doo doo. You know what I'm saying? But I heard just nothing but good things. I've been watching crazy gameplay of it, so it looks good. But as far as what I'm talking about with this toxic gaming shit, man, I don't like being policed like that. I don't like being told what to do and what not to do. My fucking conscience as a dude should like tell me about this type of shit. I don't need you. I had parents who raised me, motherfucker. Like I don't need a corporation, this soulless ass fucking corporation to kiss like the general public. You know what I'm saying? The general public. Oh shit, what's up? Yeah. I didn't even notice your ass. This motherfucker be changing his shit too much, man. Every time I see this motherfucker, it's just new avatar. Yeah. But it's getting to the point where like a soulless corporation is gonna try to make the community less toxic. Y'all, y'all hear this shit, bro? What make up like the population of this fucking world is what makes up fucking gamers. Like we're regular people too. Gamers have other jobs. We're defined by other titles than just a fucking gamer. We're not like, cookie cutter fucking breadcrumb people that just got built and like this is what this motherfucker is. He is a gamer. Like you know what I'm saying? We have other titles in life. We do other shit. It has nothing to do with the gaming culture as a whole. It's just culture as a whole. All right. And to enforce one place and like not the other, like it's just very odd. Because if you do it there, slowly there'll be more and more. Like look what happened to YouTube. Motherfuckers can't even cuss out here and get paid, at least. Unless you're real big, I guess. But you know me, I can't not cuss. That's damn near impossible. Like how the fuck am I not like gonna stop cursing? You know what I'm saying? Outside of work, I don't know what it is, but the job will make you stop cursing like a motherfucker. Don't like you don't cuss for shit. It's amazing. Like as soon as I hop in the car, I'm like, I sound like DMX and shit. Fuck you, you know, but I can't do it when I'm at work. It's amazing. I don't know what it is. Must be the paycheck. Must be the paycheck that keeps me from doing that. And you know, low key, that's the same thing. That's what I feel about. Here's my tinfoil moment, and it's not really tinfoil. I think this is, obvious, really. When companies come out and do these type of moves, right? Of course, it's good PR, right? To say, they're gonna help make the gaming community less toxic, which I still be like, man, how dare you? You make our shit. Shut the fuck up. Like, how dare you? the, make the gaming community less toxic. which part of these people are you talking about? Less toxic. Is that why you like unsub from certain motherfuckers? I mean, not unsub, but unfollow certain motherfuckers that just express you know how disappointed they are in Xbox E3 and shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know. I don't have to mention his name. Y'all know. Shout out to him. I was just saying, is that what y'all do? And I really need to read up on this because I'm really curious about this. I don't know why, but this like strikes such a chord with me because that's just I'm not sure I'm okay with that because there's rules and regulations now, and when there is rules and regulations, that means it's binding. You know, what's up, JKs? You know, when it's binding, that means you're gonna have to deal with this shit from now on. If you fuck up, it's a wrap. You understand? It's a wrap. You can't even like you can't even fight it because they have your information. It's their service. They just play that shit back or whatever. You know what I mean? And you just lose all your shit just because of that 2%. You just go all in on them, one time. It's a wrap. And I was like, what the fuck? You go all in on? Yeah, like go fucking talk like you fucking Ian and shit. And it's a wrap. Cursing everybody out. I, I'm I'm fearful of it because I don't know how far you're gonna draw the line. Because let me ask you this: what if certain words trigger me? And I'm not even talking about the obvious. I'm not even talking about chinks and gooks and yada yada yada. Light skinned jungle nigga. I don't know. I don't know like rice niggas. I don't know what the fuck. How many racial shit like is out there? Like I'm not even talking about the obvious. What if what if I feel what if I feel insulted or offended every time I hear the word headshot? What's gonna happen, huh? Because it was a dramatic experience for me. And then I get a petition. And this is really just way this is looking at it way too deep. It shouldn't be this deep, but me, I always take everything this deep. Like I just feel like this is just the beginning of some bullshit. You're just gonna be in a more controlled environment. You won't get to be yourself while playing a game. Because where does it draw the line? Where is there people that look over this shit? Is there a system to look over this shit? It's very odd. Like, and I want to see how far it goes because if you go online, you talk mad shit and curse people out and all that shit, and and people report you or whatever, I guess that, and there's shit that goes down. But how, like, where do you draw that shit? Like, is it just a zero excuse policy? Like, or how does it work? I'm very curious in that. I want to see what happens because this is not going to go away. Definitely not. And toxic gaming is like saying just take the word gaming out of it and put any other word there besides gaming, and it's still like have credibility. You know, toxic cyclists, toxic drivers, toxic crocheting ass bitches. Like I don't know, like like all kinds of toxicness, whatever you want to put behind the word toxic. There you go. You can demonize whatever that shit is. But the thing is, it's human nature to be that way. You'll never be able to stop it. Just because you put rules and regulations in there, it doesn't change that person. That person is still a dick, and he'll find, well, he or she will find ways to be assholes. They're just not gonna, you know what I mean? It's not gonna stop that. It doesn't stem from that. It doesn't look. I don't know why people like want a fucking corporation to raise their children so much or them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why that's the case, but I feel like that's the case. Listen, like, you know why people there's so many shit people online is because they feel empowered to do so because their parents never taught them any better about, self-respect. I don't know, like simple shit, self-respect, love for humanity and all this other shit, you know what I mean? Having some integrity to yourself. Like that's just, natural shit. And if you are devoid of that, if you don't have that in your life, you gonna act that way. I'm just keeping it real, and there's no stopping that unless you stop that shit. There's just nothing in like, bruh. You think these motherfuckers just all of a sudden, oh, okay, you know what I mean? It doesn't stem from there, okay? You don't you don't become that way. But here's the thing. Here's my tinfoil hat shit, right? The reason why they do this shit is because you can't you can't be open to the open market unless you are PG or at least PG-13. You understand what I'm saying? At least PG-13 or PG, somewhere around there, somewhere in between there is your home. Stadia? I don't know about all that. Here's the thing with me. I think the 2 billion people that Xbox is talking about, and even Stadia is trying to achieve, 2 billion of those, like how many of those are children? A lot of them are children. So, it's the think of the kids type of shit. But if you know what the kids are fucking like, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing though, when your game goes on multiple platforms and you can play with other people in other platforms now, that means a dude who never really played with console motherfuckers, they don't really know the experience. They don't know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it's like to play like that. And all of a sudden you show up and then you play with these motherfuckers and they fucking teabagging you, calling you a bitch. Like, ooh, calling you and your mama a bitch. Because they ain't fucking headshot your ass like 5 times and you couldn't do shit. See, you see that? There's enough evil in me to find humor in that shit, which is scary to me, because only about 5 to 10% of me is like that. I'm only like that 5 to 10% of the time online. The other 90% of the time, I'm like this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a time and a place to be, to do some fuckboy shit. Like sometimes there's a time and place for it. That's just all I'm saying. And to be policed out of it completely, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's good for people. It just causes more frustration than anything else. Because how are you gonna do it? Is it by like, you can't curse no more, like YouTube? You know what I'm saying? You can't be on YouTube cursing. You ain't gonna get paid. Like you can't curse on there no more. If they hear you say a fucking curse word, whether it's positive or negative, because I'd be like, bro, you fucking dope at this game, bro. I need you on my team so we can, level this character up or whatever the case. And then they just heard the word fucking as a rap. Now where does it stop? Are you telling me you're gonna invest a lot of money into having people monitor this shit? Like Jesus Christ, yeah. You're trying to reach 2 billion gamers, man. I don't know if you're gonna be able to like monitor 2 billion people. Maybe you can. Maybe you that creepy, right? And it's scary. But I think the reason why they go in there is because they want as many people in the gaming market as possible. They want to reach as many people as possible, and it's hard to do that unless it's PG-13. The reason why major networks reach a large audience is PG-13 and it's free, right? And these shit is damn near free, supposedly. That's what my motherfucker be saying. Because you pay $15 a month, everything comes for free. Motherfucker, you pay $15 a month for that shit. I don't know what you mean, right? But that's the mindset we're going with, and that's I I don't know why. Like I don't know what you mean by it's Stadia. Like what do you mean? Because Stadia is also that way. Stadia does not tolerate cursing and all that shit because YouTube, like Stadia is Google, and Google's trying to like police that shit, and Xbox just trying to keep up. I'm not sure what you mean by it's Stadia, but that's just the way I feel. You feel me? I feel like the reason why they're just doing that is because they're trying to reach a big market, and in order for you to reach a big and bigger market, introduce people into this fucking, I don't know what you call it, a community. I don't know what you call it. You got to be able to have people, you know, feel comfortable. You got to make it a safe place for everybody. And let's keep it 1,000. Halo multiplayer is not a safe place for anybody. Censorship. Basically, the biggest problem with YouTube is censorship and the fuckery they pull. You can't be your natural self on here. It's called YouTube. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm concerned about as far as this gaming shit is going. You can't be your natural self while you're playing a goddamn game. I curse in real life naturally all the fucking time. The only time I don't is when I have a motherfucking tie on. And I don't know what it is about that tie, but it stopped your ass. I don't know, like, because I think like speaking come from the brain, but cursing come from the heart. You know what I'm saying? And that tie just choke it right there before it can actually come out. I don't know what it is, but when you're on the clock, you never curse. I don't know what it is. I never do. I'm not just amazing at it. But as soon as I hop in the whip, it's just a different ball game. I'm like a different person, and I'm sure a lot of people is like that too. I'm not, special. Had all mature games launching. Google. I need to speak. Yeah, this is gonna have to be a topic for Tuesday, bruh. This is gonna have to be a topic for Tuesday because I don't understand what you're talking about from you know you typing this shit out and shit. I ain't sitting here reading your shit trying to figure out the fuck you trying to say. So I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to say. Oh, I see. You think YouTube content? You mean just content in general? And Xbox still want to be a part of that? Hmm. Hmm. Um. Yeah, we have to talk about that on Tuesday. But I still think I'm on to something with that because yeah, I mean there's validity to that. We can talk about that later. That is true though. YouTube is basically the biggest free market out there for basically promoting your games. People don't even people don't even count anything except like YouTube views. Like how many views it got, how many likes. It could make or break a game. Yeah, you have like let's say you know a trailer come out and for whatever reason the likes to dislike ratio is like way off. But you don't know nothing about it. You're just watching the trailer. You're like, yeah, oh, it looks so bad. Why is everybody? And then you look at the likes and dislikes. You're like, damn. and you go look, at the comments, you're like, damn. Yeah, so it could break your game, but as long as it's good, like you can Death Stranding this shit. Now I see that, but I think this has more to do with like the players themselves. Like you mean like to be able to stream online and shit, but how deep does it go? Hmm. I see. And that does coincide with what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is they're trying to reach a bigger market, and you have to be PG to be able to do that to sustain a bigger market, right? That's why all gaming is niche. Do you understand? Like all gaming is niche. It all have its own niches. But the problem is there's something that's enjoyable about gaming, and this will actually ruin that, right? Like it's showing that like when you combat toxic gaming, like ooh, you know damn well it's gonna be like some shoddy ass fucking program they're gonna try to start, like some dumbass. There's gonna be some cute saying to it, you know, I game better than that, or some bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm better than that. While I'm getting like some nonsense, some slogan they come out with a movement, and then they put out policies. And because we feel this way, from now on, we're gonna, you know, implement these fucking bullshit ass mandates on your ass. And if you fuck around, you might get fucking kicked out of this shit and never see your fucking library again. You have to do all kinds of shit just to get some other shit. That's what I'm concerned about. Because where do you draw the line of this nonsense? Don't tell me a little bit of that salt, a little bit of that bullshit, that fuckery. Don't tell me a little bit of that isn't what make online gaming fun as well. Don't bullshit me, okay? Like I said, I don't think none of us is above that shit. All of us is guilty of that in one form or another. That little bit of fuckery that you might have within you comes out from time to time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's healthy. I think so. I think it's healthy. I think it's when a what's up, impatient? You know what I'm saying? I think it was when you fucking let when you fucking let a corporation dictate that is where it's a slippery, like I'm scared of that. That's Orwellian type of shit. And here's the thing. Legally there's nothing wrong with that. And you know, ethically there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with doing what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with what they're trying to do because it's realistically it should be a good thing. Realistically. But of course, no good deed goes unpunished. Like you can't realistically is a good idea. But here's not realistically. What's the better word? Objectively, it's a good idea. But it's just really not. Um, it's harder to implement than you think. Let's just say because people are people and people have moments. You know, sometimes that shit comes out from time to time. None of us are above that shit. Let's not pretend like all of us are fucking, you know, saints out in this bitch all of a sudden. All of us is guilty of that shit. Little by little. Have y'all seen that shit? Show me a gamer who's like completely above all that shit. What were the penalties? I'm curious to know what are the rules and regulations to this new regime. Because now there's certain things we can't say in a service we paid for, and it's because of these other people might get upset, right? And the counter argument to this shit is, well, there's a lot of bitch ass motherfuckers out here that would run on the internet or online gaming and shit and run their motherfucking mouth and talk shit about everybody and just be wild as hell, just wild as fuck, right? And and they deserve their due, right? I can understand that. I can understand that vitriol, that vengeance that you want to have on motherfuckers, right? I understand that. I do. I understand motherfuckers that want to have vengeance on motherfuckers just dicks, just assholes for no reason, right? They deserve that shit. But is that because they're a gamer, or is because that dude is just an asshole? And putting these policies in there, yes, it might affect him somewhat because it really inconvenience him as a gamer. Even though he's an asshole, he still is a gamer. What's up, Corey? Facts though. But I'm just saying though, like you can't. None of us are completely above that shit, and to let a corporation dictate the rules and regulations for us how we should act in the community, where we should be able to do that ourselves, is what I'm saying. We should have been able to police ourselves, but we're not capable of that. We're not. And just because we're not, I don't think they should step in either, because it's not something the gaming community can do anything about. Let's just keep it very real. What are we gonna do about toxic gamers? Nothing. Nothing. It's nothing the fuck you can do about it. Just keeping it very real with you. There's nothing, unless you can do the Superman what do you call the move he does when he uses laser eye to fuck up your brain, lobotomize your ass. That's the only way you could do it. The only other way you could do it is to actually somehow impart fucking, you know, like impart some kind of wisdom or whatever the fuck on a motherfucker to where he would act right, he or she. Because females aren't above it either, right? Like that's the only time you could do it. But besides from that, fuck boys gonna be fuck boys. Like, what you gonna, you know what I mean? What? Yeah, of course it sounds good on paper. You know what I mean? But it's never gonna be able to be effective. Is all I'm saying. It's best that we police ourselves. Is realistically, this is just a culture problem. People are not getting raised very well. I'm sorry, the quality of people has dwindled in the last couple of decades. Just being extra real, people are like just getting shittier. It has nothing to do with gaming. It's just people in general, and and to find ways to fix that, that's impossible in gaming. The only thing that's possible is if people start acting right in real life, teach their kids manners and shit. It doesn't stem from being a gamer that makes you toxic. It's just you're toxic and you just happen to be a gamer too. Everyone is capable of it and shit. You know what I mean? And we're not all above it, but there's, in my opinion, like I always said, there's a time and place for everything, and that's scary. I don't know how far it's gonna go, and I don't know how many more companies are gonna pick up that narrative, go that route, and I don't really know how far they're gonna take it either, and it just makes me a little concerned. But let's enough of that. I went almost an hour on that shit, but I don't know why, but that affects me a lot. It's it's that type of shit is the type of like censorship I'm concerned about. You know, real shit, Cone. I love that movie too. That movie's hilarious. It's incredible how like damn near like accurate it is. But let's talk about this generation so far. because I want to go against the grain because all I see right now are people talking about next generation PS5, you know, PS5 and Xbox 2, whatever the fuck Xbox 2 is. Exactly, Corey. That's exactly why people do it. But here's the thing. That's why, if you teach your children integrity, they would understand that you know, even though no one's gonna know who you are, no one's gonna understand. Like, you could be completely anonymous out here, but you have integrity enough to not be a dick to someone else for no goddamn reason. You feel me? It's just that's I'm just keeping it extra real with you, just extra real, right? Like we all out here, we all have that inner voice in our head, and I think that comes from upbringing. Like, where else does it come from? And I mean, I'm not saying that's 100% of the time because I have friends who keep it extra real with you. I have some white friends and they family racist as fuck. Like, their family's extra racist, and they feel uncomfortable as fuck, like extra uncomfortable whenever that shit comes up because they not that way. He was raised the same way all of his brothers and sisters are, but he's just not like them. And to each their own. But usually, I want to say, kids usually take after and their parents or whoever it is that raised them, whatever it is that raised them. Because nowadays a man and a woman don't really raise a child like that no more. Just keeping it really real, man. Like, that's just what it comes down to. I'm not saying that everyone is like terrible parents out here, but people don't really raise their children like they used to, and people wilding. I'm sorry, I went back to that topic, but anyway, generation recap. So let's talk about this generation, this passing generation. You know, where where gaming's been and all that, where gaming has been for the last what 5 6 years. Because when we talk about this generation, we still got to do a prologue and talk about the ending of last generation. Because the ending of the last generation was interesting. Because last generation was very bleak for PlayStation gamers, but it was a wonderful time to be a gamer. Don't be wrong. I got both console. Shit was great. And then Sony started at the end of the generation, started doing their thing, and it was nice at the end of the generation. But the generation lasted a long, long time. So by the time that generation was over, right when we know new tech is coming, people was getting hyped because it was quite a while before we got new tech, and we got it. And once we got new tech, the generation, how did it feel long for you guys? This generation, did it feel longer than the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation comparatively? Like, and I don't mean like actual time length wise, like how many years and shit. I'm talking about the relativity of time. You know what I mean? Like when you're having fun, time move faster in your head. Like, how relative is it to you as far as how fast it feels and how slow that feels this generation compared to last generation? Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, I'm at the same level. It's like the same energy on both generation. They feel like the same length. I know this generation is ending next year, right? Figuratively, because they still will continue on. I had more free time in 360 days. Me too, man. I had way more free time during that day. I wasn't responsible for a whole lot of shit, but I felt like this generation, it felt just as long as last generation. This generation felt pretty, decently length. Like, it's pretty good for what it is. We got one more solid year, and that's plenty. Like I'm actually hyped for next generation right now. I am. I want to see what's up. There is still things in this generation that's not done yet, so we'll do a true generation recap. We'll actually get into the more of the specifics once next year hit. We can actually really do that. I just want to do this because I don't want to talk about next generation like everybody else, and I just want to talk about just this generation thus far, right? Nintendo is, came into the game very weird because they're technically on their next generation, but we're not going to talk about that as of right now. The Switch is this generation, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that pans out. As of right now, Xbox is and isn't, doing console generation no more. Like, we don't know which one's which. Um, uh, PlayStation, PlayStation is selling really well. It's just facts. I'm not. That's what it is, right? PlayStation's selling really well. Is faced with a lot of adversity. I'm not gonna front. It's very weird because it's the number one selling console in this generation thus far, and you can count either one of the Nintendo console. Matter of fact, you can add them together, and PlayStation still outsell it, right? Um, it has a lot of adversity. Strangely enough, the most popular console, the most yeah, man, that is crazy. 360 and that shit's like a generate. It's about to be two generation behind us. That's crazy. Damn, yeah. What's up, D? What's up, Lincoln? But yeah, man, this generation has been, in my opinion, the strangest generation thus far. There has been no generation that's been stranger than this one. I mean, I don't think anyone would really disagree with me. This is the oddest one we had so far. The generation we on had introduced so many things to the gaming world, so many more phrases, so many words, so many things that no one have ever spoken about before until this generation. I've never heard of the word. I'm gonna keep it extra real with y'all, right? I never heard the word teraflop until this generation. I don't even know if that word existed before this generation or not. Where's your wrench? Foxy took it. He's a mechanic. But and then this generation is the first generation where games also no longer matters. Now let's recap the general fucking synopsis of the generation thus far, right? When the generation first started, PlayStation dudes, a decent amount was talking about power. Let's not act like it was not. I wasn't one of them. You already know. I kept it 100 since day one. If y'all go back to all my earlier videos when I was like, you know what I'm saying? All my videos from back in the day, I would tell y'all straight up that before I have this 4K TV, I had a 720 and I was fine with it. I didn't really buy it until it would start fucking up on me. You know what I mean? Until my 720 started being a little weird, so I just donated and copped this motherfucker. But, but I'm not really into like super graphics like that. I always like a generation, you know, start of a new generation because it's fresh and it's new. We all like some new shit. You can't be stuck with the same console for fucking ever. It's nice to get some new shit, right? So once the generation starts, it's cool. But at the beginning of the generation, I didn't care about power. But there's plenty of PlayStation dudes that talk about power, Xbox dudes that talking about games because they did have games coming out, and PlayStation games they came out. There is a decent amount of them came out, but nothing crazy, nothing spectacular for about a year and a half ish, 2 years. It was just decent. Excuse me. And it was just decent. And that was cool. It was decent. But once that happened, the narrative slowly started to change and it flip flop backwards. Once the Xbox One X start going into production. During that time, it's Switch and PlayStation dudes talking about games because they had crazy ass games that came out and is coming out. Xbox dude didn't. All their game was boo booed or they got canceled, right? Exactly, D. You just paid $100 more for a less impressive console, and and you can say, well, that's because they bundled the Connect. Well, who fault is that, motherfucker? What I'm saying? I guess they didn't listen to y'all, motherfuckers. They didn't understand that. They didn't understand that fucking if you sell some products to your fan base that they don't like, they ain't gonna cop it. And of course, the infamous DRM shit and all that other shit, right? That did not help them at all. That's actually the shit that hurt them the most was the publicity, the negative publicity, and not all publicity is good publicity. Not all of them. There are negative publicity. Don't bullshit. Don't let people bullshit you. Some publicity you can't bounce back from. Ask Kevin Spacey. Ask dude who voiced the dude in the Japanese actor that went on that did some cocaine. They couldn't, and they had to like take him out of the fucking Yakuza game. I mean? Not all publicity is great publicity. That's where Xbox fucked up at. They had terrible publicity from the start, and they're $100 more. You know what I mean? That's checkmate right there. That's over. What else do you have? Like you're $100 more. Your console's less impressive, and you wilding with this DRM shit. Like it just they shot themselves in the foot like 3 times. Not just shot themselves in the foot, but they did it 3 motherfucking times. Like pow, 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 pow. Was that four? Did I do 4 shots? It might have been four. What was the fourth one they did? Oh yeah, the fourth one was wild shit like canceling games, canceling anticipated games, and then making boo boo ass games. And PlayStation hasn't fared like perfectly 100% through this whole generation. It has its obstacles, but its obstacles very weird. It's not the same as Xbox, right? Xbox couldn't sell consoles this generation to the point where they had to find a different niche to be in as far as gaming is concerned. Like they're shifting their whole business outlook as far as gaming is concerned in a whole nother direction because they just don't have the loot, not the loot, because they got that. They don't have that problem. They don't have the base for it. People just don't buy their shit, right? Well, I mean, they're already doing that right now, Corey. This generation has introduced me to so much shit. I ain't gonna front. So much shit about gaming that I never thought was necessary or even relevant. But here we are. Oh, for sure. But let's keep it real. Most PC motherfuckers ain't running a PC so impressive that it runs leaps and bounds better than a console. And if these next console are what they say that it is, and I can't really, co-sign anybody until the console actually come out, and we can break down the numbers and yada and all that nonsense. But as of right now, we can't really say shit. But it sounds impressive thus far. That's all I'm saying. Of course, Corey, but it's never about that. And of course, I do this YouTube shit from time to time. I'm not part of this quote unquote community, so you have to have these type of discussions with motherfuckers. And this generation, Sony. What does Sony has to deal with? Most recently is the censorship shit, which I'm not sure I understand. I'm not sure I understand the censorship shit. I don't really need to see Trish and Lady's ass that bad. Which, from what I understand, they took it off. I haven't played that mission in a long while. I don't really know if that's true or not. But it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Now, from what I understand, it's more like hentai type of shit, right? Like, not just hentai, but like children type of hentai shit. I don't know. Am I wrong on that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, is that if it's that, I don't really have no issues with it. I've like I've been saying, there's certain censorship that I don't like. I don't appreciate censorship usually at all. But I mean, if you must, I mean, there should be some for sure, cool. Like I learned that shit too. I learned that shit quick. And like, what else can I say about it? Yeah, exactly, Stardust. I see you beyond that shit, man. It's just the censorship is very odd. Like I haven't, because here's the craziest shit. The craziest shit is people who are so wanting to defend this, mad about being like, seeing some weird shit being censored, right? Like I don't like censorship, but if you're gonna censor some shit, censor some weird shit. Censor some drawings of little children ass weird shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's weird. Like, I know it's not real child porn because it's not real children, but that's very weird. Like, you know what I mean? Ew. Yeah, like I'm not mad at that. Like I can't be. How can I be? I'm fine with that. But people are like so into like wanting to defend that shit, they'll drag other shit in. Like, look. Sony is also censoring violence. What the fuck? What the fuck? Do I sound white? Do I sound white when dude? What the fuck? Do I sound white when I do that? That's my best white dude impression. Dude, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Yeah, I start sounding like the little girl in Full House. Dude, what are you talking about, dude? What do you mean? That's my best white dude impression. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's the best I got. But no, but for real though, like it's like, do you know what you're saying? Sony's top lineup is filled with like fucking mature rated games where blood is spilled everywhere. And I'm gonna be extra real with you. Sony has toned down a lot of sexuality because Kratos ain't fucking no hoes. Because that would be really graphic. Can you imagine that? The graphics on that engine, of that God of War engine, and you're just over here just playing a game where you just smashing, like you just, you Kratos, you're the God of War, you just fucking tearing some pussy up, like just that might be a bit much. You feel me? It's too much. It might be too much shit. It might be the most paused part of like game in history. But we had to go fix themselves before they can keep playing again. Shit might be a bit much. You know what I mean? Might be a little too real in this mission. You know what I mean? Yeah, like when I don't know if y'all remember when y'all play like the like the real version of San Andreas, where when CJ be smashing bitches and you can see it, it looks hilarious. It looks hilarious. It's not sexual. It's just hilarious. But just imagine the graphics that we have now. It's not gonna be hilarious no more. It's fucking digital porn at that point. You know what I mean? So like now it's a lot weirder than back in the day. Back in the day, there was more polygonic and it's more like surreal. It's not really real. Like it's okay. Like it was okay, but now graphics are getting too real. Like it is kind of a bit much if you go all in, like go all in on that. Even though still, I prefer some games to be that way because it's an adult ass game. Let it be an adult ass game, but it is what it is. It's The Witcher the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? But I can see Sony stepping a little bit less on the as far as sexuality. But as far as the violence though, violence. Oh, I got the three most anticipated games coming up. It's about a samurai who cuts through and like stabbing motherfuckers and cutting through them motherfuckers. Are you insane? And the other most anticipated game is about a fucking girl who's about to murder like at least a whole clique of motherfuckers. At least a whole clique. Probably like two or three cliques. You know what I'm saying? Whole gang of motherfuckers getting killed in the worst way. They cut from her kissing the bitch to stabbing the motherfucker in the neck, or blood just everywhere. Blood just everywhere, bruh. And Death Stranding. Death Stranding had a fucking trailer of a motherfucker who got captured by the demon whatever thing, and he was trying to shoot himself, and he couldn't kill himself by that, and he started stabbing himself repeatedly. Yeah, yeah, that company. They gonna censor fucking blood. It's you, like, dude. What the fuck? Are you crazy, bro? You know what I mean? Like, how else am I supposed to like react to that? Like, dude, are you crazy, bro? What's going on with you, man? Oh god damn. Fuck you all saying, man. I mean, I would be down. I would be. I mean, I'm reading that shit. Calm down. This is my fucking podcast, dude. Jesus. Yeah, and Death Stranding is coming out this year, bro. Death Stranding. Can you imagine with the graphics of the PS5? And you just like you don't even have to see the actual thing, but you can see like Kratos smashing like a gang of bitches. Could be Kratos. I mean, not Kratos. Could be Atreus smashing a bunch of bitches. Who knows? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine like that might be a bit much. That might be too much. These stupid as fuck. But this generation has showed a lot of things to me about just gaming and the community itself. We talking about services now, like you know what I mean? When's the last time before this generation y'all was talking about services? And low key, motherfuckers starting to talk about services last generation. Like, partially midway through last generation, they was talking about services already. But we going full blown. Yeah, the cloud. We got the cloud in this bitch. We got the cloud. Let's see what else. Oh, of course, we get the whole toxic gaming thing. I mean, it's been around last generation. We know the deal last generation. It didn't seem so bad last generation. It gotten a lot worse this generation, supposedly. What else? Of course, you know, single player games, narrative based games aren't, what's the word? Doesn't make an impact like they used to. That was new this generation. Um, and I'm not even going over the stuff that you know general public. I don't want to even want to say the gaming community and fanboys and shit. No, I'm just talking about the general public. What we people say about gaming and shit. I'm not talking about just the bickering between the general public. I'm talking about like this the narrative of the industry as a whole. What narrative have came up and left us, and what have stayed and such. We've had so many in one generation, and this is a short generation comparatively. Compared to the generation prior. You know what I mean? It's decently. It's not short, but it's just like the decent, like the right amount of years. Good to hear though, Aaron. Good to hear you doing alright. But yeah, man. So this generation has been more than crazy, and I am ready for next generation. I just don't like to talk about stuff that I'm very unsure about. I really don't know what next generation is looking like. You know, I don't know what it's gonna look like next generation, but this generation has brought so much, and I can only imagine what new narrative these corporations come up with next. What moves are we coming next? Oh yeah, I mean, in this generation, we also have surprise mechanics. As in surprise, bitch, we got your money. You know what I mean? It's loot boxes. We had them last generation. There was nowhere near as quote unquote predatory as some YouTubers like to call it. I mean, these words that motherfuckers come up would be crazy. All right. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy experience so far. And next generation, here's the thing with next generation. Here's what I think about it. And I'm not going to talk about power and all this other stuff. What I will say about power is they're going to be very close to one another. I think so. I don't think the gap will be I don't even think the gap will be that noticeable in between them. I'm talking about the gap will be less noticeable than in between the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. Whichever one is more powerful, it doesn't matter. The gap between them will be so minuscule that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe it's in just barely enough. Just barely. Just barely enough for you just to see just a smidgen of it. Like you can see just a little bit of difference in that motherfucker. But I don't think so. I think you're not going to be able to tell much. But I want to know what's the narrative that's going to come out of that next. You know, of course. Also, this generation we also have what is it? It's the business is not in how many console you sell anymore. It's about how many subscriptions and services you get and all that. Right? That's what it is now. So it's very interesting where we're gonna go with this shit, right? What new level of fuckery is gonna come out, and what new other shit that company's gonna come up with to talk to us about. And I want to know if y'all think it's gonna be better next generation than it is this generation. That's what I'm debating on. Cause I'm saddened to say this, but I think this generation is gonna be better than next generation. I hate to bust your bubble. I'm not saying no good shit's gonna come out. I'm saying some good shit's gonna come out next generation. But I feel like this generation It's the last of its kind. You know what I mean? It's the last of consoles in the concept that we think of, or at least gaming in the way we think of. Next generation, it's gonna be like a whole nother era of gaming, for better for worse. I think so. I think this generation marks the end of whatever era you want to call the 80s until now, whatever era that is, right? But I think this will change it, for better or for worse. I don't know, but I think it's going to be way worse. Not way worse, but it'll be worse. And D's giving Kratos for fucking running for his money out here and shit. Yeah, and it's not that I don't hope that it's good. I of course hope that it's good, but you know, I'm not I'm not oblivious to what's going on in this industry. There's a lot of things I see that I don't like. I really don't like it, you know. And just because I don't like some shit doesn't mean other people won't. Some people out there might love what's coming up next. It's just the amount of things that shifted within this one generation alone. I'm fearful for what comes up next. I don't think it's gonna be beneficial to us. We won't be able to act like ourselves, when we're playing online, because these corporations are looking into ways of making gaming less toxic, right? So we can't act like our normal selves. We have a guideline to follow. Otherwise, we have to face consequences. Mm? And of course, the big question is, will streaming take off or not? Like really, really take off or not? You know, and if it does, that's really scary. If it doesn't, which I hope, and I also think nope, it won't. You feel me? Like I don't think it will. I don't think it succeeds mainly because it has too many obstacles to overcome, and I don't think it can overcome it. Now, I'm not saying all of them will fail. I feel like with any type of venture like this, some of them will at least do alright. Some of them might even profit and do decently well, but none of them will like take over like that. It won't be the main way of playing, at least not yet, at least not for a while. That's just the way I see it because it's the obstacles that it has for itself is too major. And you can listen to marketing guys tell you you know as much as you want as far as how much how well it is like running and all that shit, but come on now, you know, come on now. Marketing is it's very easy to make shit sounds good. I was at this conference and I tried it and it works amazing. Okay, can you elaborate on what it is? No, of course not. They sell you a dream. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I've been in certain sales position where I be selling motherfuckers dreams because what I'm selling is intangible. It's a program. It's not even a product. It's a program that you have to stick with. This is an idea that you have to follow, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to sell someone an idea. It's easier. It's easier to sell something tangible, a product, something that you can show off, something that you can explain the feature and the benefits, of a product. How do you fucking sell an idea? You feel me? How do you sell an idea? How do you sell an advice? You ever done that? You ever sold someone an advice? I have. I used to do it for a living. I still kind of do. I sell someone an advice, a program. Like, and it's hard to do that type of shit, man. Oh shit, what's up, sick? But yeah, man, next generation is it's not gonna be like this generation or any generation before it. And whether streaming survive and or succeed or not, we'll have to find out. Does it come come down to a W or an L? We'll have to see. I'm saying it's gonna be an L, but we'll see what the future holds for us, right? But if it does work out, that's a very scary thought. If it does work out, you know, and if it doesn't work out, what then? Are we going back to the traditional ways? No, no, I don't think so. You know why? Because there's no way they're going backward. They're always going to go forward. So whichever way they're going to, even if they go back to consoles, they're going to find new ways of injecting other ways of trying to make money off of you. Because that's the way the game goes. You got to stay afloat by staying afloat. You know what I mean? You never played a Final Fantasy game, Kun? Are you like being facetious or are you like being serious? I'm just asking, like for real. I'm just asking. You've never played a Final Fantasy game? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's always there's always games. You know why I was asking Kun that D? This would surprise you. I've never played a Final Fantasy game either. None of them. I've seen people play them. I've watched people play them. I heard people talking about them. And all that shit, right? But I never. Hey, there's lots of games that are amazing out there that you probably missed 2D. It is what it is. It just I'm not into it, so I'm not into it. You know? What am I gonna do? I'm just not into this shit. Like I can't play it. Like I just don't want to. But the future is gonna be amazing because the future is gonna change certain things. It's gonna make certain things clear. And what I mean by make certain things clear is we will know for sure whether streaming is a viable option or not within 3 years. Somewhere around 3 years, we'll know. Why do I say 3 years? I say 3 years because it's launching here very soon. And once it's in the market for about 2 years, we will slowly see the results. There will be at least enough 2 years of data to see, you know, the adoption rate, the drop rate, and if it maintained at a certain number, all that type of stuff. We get to know numbers, right? We get to know if it's doing well or not, if it's holding, maintaining, if it's climbing, if it's like diving, whatever the case is. We'll actually have some info on it. 6 months, a year. I don't really think that's enough time for us to know. I think it needs more time than that. It needs like at least a solid year. At least. That's just the way I see it. At least solid year. to see, where it's standing, where it's standing. I think so. I think so. Don't call me Danny, but can't really cause it. I think so, but I can't really say that's how it's gonna be. And if that's the case, that'll be incredible. But I can't call it yet because we've been wrong about many things. What you thinking? What are you saying, Kun? What you think streaming is gonna work out like for real? And I also need to tell me if you're in character or not because I can't fucking tell at the moment. You're the homie, but sometimes it's hard as fuck to tell if you're in character. Well, here's what I'm gonna say about next generation, right? Talking too much nonsense. I feel you. Here's all I'm gonna say about next generation. When starting from this generation as the end of this generation moving forward, that's why when we start talking about this generation, we have to talk about the generation prior, right? Logical nonsense. Oh shit, what's up, dude? Um, I like that name, logical nonsense. That's a cool name. That's a cool name to have, bro. Logical nonsense. But I mean, I think that's all I got. But all I want to say before I go, as far as this whole next generation shit, is I I'm hyped mainly because I'm ready to get some new shit. But I'm actually very fearful of what's coming. You know, that's actually what I really want to just say. I'm not just really fearful of what's coming, and it's not because I hate change and like changes and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm great with changes. I'm fearful because I see the narratives that's been spoken about right now. What's up, sick? I see the narrative that's being spoken right now, right? And the narrative of right now comes to fruition in the future, you know? And I see what companies are talking about, what they're trying to do, what they're not trying to do. And yeah, man, I'm not feeling it. I'm very concerned about a lot of things. But to be honest with you, like a lot of times I feel like the smaller subjects that are really ridiculous, just nonsense, we don't really need to discuss it and stuff. I feel like those are there so that, it keeps us from talking about some real shit when it comes to gaming, man. We're I don't think we're past, I don't think we're past the the hardest part of gaming as far as, the culture and what gaming is for the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years. Like I don't know we passed that rough patch, man. I think it's just beginning. I think it's just going further downhill. And I mean like across everything. I think gaming, like fighting games will become easier. Well, all games will become easier. Um Even games that we used to hold at a standard for having a certain amount of difficulty, you know. I think that's what it is that will change. That we're just not gonna have the same type of mentality when it comes to making games anymore. They'll be very, how do I put this? Very cookie cutter, very easy to market, very simple, very friendly to everybody type of shit. And they, mass flood the market with that shit, and it's gonna fail. And I don't know if it's gonna be, a gaming crash or not, but I can see it not working out very well. But that's all I got, man. I'm just saying I hope for the best still. I mean, I hope nice things happen, but I'm concerned they won't. That's all, man. I'll see y'all Tuesday. We'll probably discuss this, companies getting into policing people a little bit further on Tuesday because it's an interesting subject. You gotta admit, Thrash came through, saying what he was saying, and it makes me interested in, knowing what's up. But yeah, man, sorry I started late. I had some other stuff I gotta take care of, but we're good. So I think we're good to go tonight, man. I rambled on long enough. Royal Flush, Draco Rex, Asian Gambit. Thank you everybody for coming out. Logical nonsense. I'm not sure if you came through that much because I would think I would remember that name. It's a dope ass name. Oh, and before I go, um, Hangout is about to be Dunzos, so I'm probably switching to Discord. Not that that affects me that much, mainly because I'm not inviting people, and I'm just letting you guys know really why it's just always just me sitting here talking. Okay, if I wanted to talk to other people, I'd be on the Roundtable podcast. This is my channel. It's my channel for a reason. It's because I want to talk about shit. And inviting on someone else on, it means that I have to have a discussion. And I'm not here to have a discussion with another motherfucker. I'm here to have a discussion with y'all. What basically means just me running my mouth, and when you guys type shit out, speak about it. But that's where it ends. We're not doing more than that. You know what I mean? I'm not hosting this shit. I'm not doing that extra shit because that's what the round table is for. There's a reason for that. You feel me? But anyways, Roll Flush, Draco Rex, Asian Gambit. Thank you y'all for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Stardust, always. Lays, don't call me Danny. Impatient, all y'all. Who am I missing? Of course, D. Oh my goodness. Arian. Who else am I missing? Jamal was up here earlier. I think that's it, right? Oh man. Except Coon. I'm just fucking with you, Coon. But all right, man. I'm out. I'll see y'all Tuesday. All right. Deuces.